Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we're taking a closer look at the new limited edition Shanghai 1955 watch. As I said in the unboxing, this is the first Shanghai watch I'm featuring on the channel, and I must say I like what they did. Unlike many small brands from China I regularly feature, Shanghai, just like Peacock, is an old brand. In fact, it is one of the oldest Chinese brands. Founded in 1955 makes them 70 years old, which is quite old for China, as it means they were one of the first watches produced in China ever. This watch celebrates their 70th anniversary and is quite frankly stunning. Being one of the only few old brands with actual history and tradition, and using their own designs, is reflected on the price. So this thing is not in the same $100 to $200 bracket like most watches I review. But then again, it is not as high-end as Peacocks I reviewed. I always say Peacock is something of a JLC of China. Well, Shanghai actually was called Rolex of China in the past, as they used to be the watch to own before the quartz crisis demolished them, like it did a lot of Swiss brands. Today, they can hardly be called Rolex of China simply because they use third-party movements, in this instance a Seagull ST2130, which is a clone of the ETA 2824. There's nothing wrong with that, and like I said, it keeps the price slightly down compared to a fully in-house made Peacock. Even the originals from the past used Chinese standardized movements, as Chinese watchmaking was regulated by the state, making all manufacturers follow the same movement design. What separated Shanghai from others was higher quality control and fine-tuning, making them the best version of the said movement you could get. Today, I seriously doubt they go through the same trouble with Seagull movements, but just like many other Chinese brands these days, the finish quality and cleanliness of everything else on the watch is spectacular for the price. And then there's the way this thing looks. Classical in looks, but yet very Chinese in quirky little details, like the ornament logo and the red tip of the seconds hand. So it has some flashiness, but done in a tasteful way, making it a very balanced design. They didn't put an open heart, nor a tourbillon like so many Chinese that go over the top. Even the case back is closed and adorned with a beautiful engraving, which is, to me at least, much better than if they showed the movement. The silver and gold go really well together, looking sophisticated and legible at the same time. And I love the applied markers as well as the small dimples for the 5-minute marks. The watch wears nice and thin, and at 39mm with a relatively short lug-to-lug, it will work on any size wrist. However, if you follow my channel, you know I prefer smaller watches and ones that look slightly on the small side even on my 6.5-inch wrist. So while I can pull it off, and it's definitely not too big, for my wrist and my taste, I would prefer if it was 36mm, especially since they nailed the design of the case and finish types doing exactly how I prefer, with brushed surfaces and polished facets and details. They do offer a smaller one, but that one is 31mm, and I find that to be too small even for me. But other than the size and somewhat small and not so easy to grab crown, I find this to be amongst the best Chinese watches I had the pleasure of reviewing ever. And considering the brand history, design, and finish quality, this is yet another bargain, even at this price. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.